In your Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kevin Lou. Okay, Albany, the public hearing, under public hearing is the rezone William Rutledge property at 305 East Main from a C4 to R2. And that's his office he was renting, right? Spare?
Yeah.
Okay. Back like it was.
Yeah, back to what it was.
All right, anybody here concerning that rezone? Okay, if not, I need to, what's the will of the board?
Something.
Got a motion by Will, to have a second.
Second.
Second by Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item B is to rezone Mary Jennifer Russell property, 132 West Main, from I-1 to C1. Anybody here concerned with that? Or against?
Y'all got C1 amended last month to allow for the residential.
It was proposed, it was set for public hearing today, it's gonna have to be reset, so it hasn't been done yet.
But if it's changed to C1 now, it'll just take effect and when they change that later. I guess.
That's true.
They approve.
Thank you.
I got a motion by Amy, to have a second.
Second.
Second by Kevin Dale. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's all on the public hearing. Personal appearances, Betty Thornton and Paul Henry. And on personal appearances, we're gonna ask everybody to keep their comments to around 5 minutes, so we got some people want to talk. Other people want to talk, so we're gonna ask you to keep everything down to about 5 minutes. So which one of y'all wanna go first? Paul, you or Miss Betty?
Well,
You gonna-
we're together.
Okay, you gonna do that, okay.
Yeah.
All right, come on. You can sit right there, come up here.
Ready? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I'm here to request a zoning variance for the following location. The Highway 15 Medical Building located at 124 Highway 15 South, New Albany, Mississippi. It's currently owned by Mrs. Betty Thorpe. We would like it to, we are requesting a variance to allow occasional residential use of this building under the prior existing use, as the building was remodeled for this purpose in 1979 and has been used as such until today's date on an off and on basis. Earlier in the year, it was requested that due to current zoning restrictions, that a variance should be, for this use, should be obtained from the city of New Albany. The variance would be accepted and requested from the Board of Aldermen. We submitted the request for this variance in January of this year. And we are now waiting for a decision based on that, and we're here.
I just have a question. So you requested a variance in January?
Correct.
Okay, and you haven't received any information from that?
No, ma'am.
You asked a variance from us?
No, ma'am.
From the
I was
zoning
told that we needed to, first of all, originally, I was under the impression we need to go to the zoning board first. And if I were to request it under regular circumstances, then I would speak to the zoning board. At that time, when I spoke to him, let's see. He told me that I had two options, that I could fill out a request with him, pay a $36 fee, and show up in front of the zoning board and request this use, a C1 residential request, or if the use, in other words, had been in previous use under the wording in the ordinance, that I could then come and make a request and submit a request of variance to the Board of Aldermen. And that's who I'm supposed to come and make that request to, is this body. So we are here now to make that request as we were submitted the form in January. We're here to find out.
I think your initial argument was his grandfather, right? Because it's been since '79.
Well, in the reality, even earlier than that, but this was when the last remodel was done.
But it met the ordinance in
1979.
'79.
Yes, correct. It met the ordinances and was
It hasn't
allowed,
been abandoned since.
has not been abandoned since.
Yes, so there's two issues there. That's really the first one, because if you go straight to the variance, you're kind of skipping over that one. That one is a question of whether our ordinances apply to their property. And as of what year did those ordinances pass, do you know?
2 or 3, the ordinance on living in the building,
Right.
I don't know that.
Okay, if it came out of one of these model codes, it would have been when we adopted that. And, there's a whole string of codes that we've adopted over time. But I think am I correct on this though, that when that was put there, it was legal?
Yes, when the building was originally put there, as far as I
Okay.
know.
So at that point in time, it would have been a property right that they had that would have been basically grandfathered or exempt from our ordinances. And if that was continuous, that would continue. And if it even was even non-continuous, it has to be abandoned before it goes away. And so there's a fact question there, what's abandonment? There's no clear standard, black letter law standard on that. But to me, 6 months is kind of a good baseline that you might use. And so there's a determination for someone, the board that had to make, was this right that they had to the residential use of that property ever abandoned or not. If it's not, then they still have it and they can continue, and our ordinances do not prevent that use going forward. But if it was abandoned, then at that point in time, it would require variance from our ordinances, because our ordinances don't allow it. They don't allow the residential use in the commercial building without certain things being done, which would cost them some money. So they still could get it approved, even without variance, but they'd have to do some work. So then you get into the variance thing, and that was one of those types of variances that the zoning board doesn't really feel comfortable handling. It requires us, this board, I think, to take it on. So I guess number one, there's the question, the fact question, if this board wants to address it, what its feelings are, on whether or not that property right is still in existence or has been abandoned. If it has been abandoned, then there's their request for a variance, which I'm not sure procedurally, is that here before us today?
What you do is you file for conditional permitted use to have a residential and a commercial building. And then upon inspecting it, to make sure that it meets the fire code and stuff, then it can go to the zoning board.
Okay, so what happened with you said variance, but just a matter of wording there, conditions of permitted use. What happened with that February request?
We got it because when we went out and inspected the building, it does not meet current codes.
But has that been before the zoning board? It has not yet. So he's just been given an initial interpretation. And before he comes here, he has to take that to the zoning board.
The zoning board, of course, it does not meet the code, so it really can't go to the zoning board because it does not meet the fire code.
Okay, well, my question really is, for him to procedurally bring that in front of this board, what does he have to do?
I guess you get on the agenda and ask them.
So you think he's proper, his request today is proper for them to address if it comes to that?
Less the information that they need to know to involve the code.
Okay, all right, so,
I think the initial thing is it grandfather or not?
Well, it's never been abandoned, may I help?
that's,
Sure, Ms. Thorne, go ahead.
And I'd like to still see it. That room, was two rooms back there. One was an x-ray room. Baptist Hospital wasn't here. An old hospital didn't have x-ray. So Jim put, my husband was a doctor, and he put x-ray facility in there. The room next to it, which one might say is the living room, was a room with a bath where people could change their clothes and the x-rays were made. There was also a developing room in that little thing. Then after the hospital was built, it was not financially feasible for Dr. Thornton to make x-rays, which he always had to have a radiologist to look over them to be legal. And our youngest daughter had gotten married, and we turned that place back there into an apartment for she and her husband, and then for she and her husband and her child. When they moved out into a house of their own, we used it just as an occasional guest place for people who came to visit us. And in the afternoons, the staff's children and my grandchildren would come there, and of course it had a kitchen and it had a bathroom, and we put a television in there, and that's where they stayed after school. Then in 1984, when our house burned on Apple Street, we stayed there until we could build a house. So it's never been out of use. So I can't see why there is a question.
My first question, he's now answered, can we address this today? So I think the answer is yes, if you want to address it today. Let me tell you, first of all, if Eric wants to present fact, one question you need to decide right now is, do you want to hear it today, or do you want to set it for a hearing on another day? Because when you hear the facts, you need to hear all the facts. It's more like sitting as a court at this point in time. This is an appealable order of the board, and it's a fact determination, for which, by the way, you don't have to do this, but you can go into executive session for deliberation if it comes to that. If she basically just presented her version of the facts, and the question comes down to, and I used the wrong term earlier, the question for the first question comes down to, is this an ongoing non-conforming use? We have a non-conforming use ordinance, and that ordinance says that non-conforming uses, things that were existed, and we took on our ordinances, they expire at a certain point in time. They don't last forever. So we kind of disfavor those. We recognize they exist, but at some point in time, if somebody has a non-conforming use, that can expire by abandonment. And I'm not suggesting one way or another what the answer to that question is, but I have suggested to Eric that he's not the person to make that decision, that the board is. So Eric had some facts brought to his attention, which he may need to present if you want to hear it today. If you want to hear it another time, we can do that too. And Eric can make a suggestion or recommendation if he feels one is appropriate. But it's really up for y'all to decide whether you think they have still a non-conforming use or not.
Eric does have the facts today.
Are you prepared to address it?
I don't think I have some of the facts that I need about the light and water and food and all that. I have this number, but I don't have it.
Okay. Being that he asked to be on the here as a personal appearance, it was not really set up as a hearing on that determination. My suggestion would be then, let's set this thing for a hearing date at the next meeting. Let them appear. They can testify again if she so desires. You've heard what she has to say. She really doesn't have to appear if that's an inconvenience to her. But she may want to be here because she may hear things that Eric says she wants to rebut. So Eric's not here to present one side, he's really here to present his version of the facts. And then the question will be for y'all to decide at that point in time. So that's my suggestion, let Eric gather his facts to present.
Do you have proof that the power was been on all this time?
Yes, sir. If you like, we can go back to even
Since that-
further. If this goes, we'll take you back to, this instant doc, or this immediate document takes you all the way back to 4/11/2011 and shows the monthly billing and the changeable monthly amounts since that time, every month of every year since then, and it being paid every month of every year. No utilities were discontinued, no anything. Even the security lamps and whatnot were in effect and same every day since it's been in.
There was some gas interruption and some trash and water interruption, but I do not have that in front of me, that I gathered from White Gas and Water. I just do not have that in.
My question is, what's gonna be the cost factor for him to bring it up to our codes for now?
I don't know, that would be, it'd have to be designed and looked at.
Can you explain to them what code violations would exist if it is determined that it's not a non-conforming use? What would have to be repaired to bring it up to the current code?
The resident part would have to be a 2-hour fire separation from the business part.
Yeah, just making a mention to that, and I'm sure these gentlemen, since they've looked at it several times, can attest. So the only area that's included is basically this one area as Ms. Thornton has described. And earlier you had heard her describe it as the X-ray original. Well, this area consists of 2 solid concrete block walls, poured solid with concrete surrounding this area, including a poured concrete roof. I think, I'm just suggesting that's at least a substantial fire retardant, and is, I think, used in many other instances as a firewall, would be those multiple poured brick areas. This was started out as something very, very simple, and it's grown a little bit larger. Anyway, like I say, it's just to address, to let you know that to try to build a firewall from the entire back end of that building, from here to there, business-wise, this is the only part of the building that's not declared on my ABC floor, on the professional floor plan that the state of Mississippi recognizes. I'll put it like that. And it's fairly safe considering, and I'll leave it at that for the moment. But I believe that we can show that it's a fairly safe situation as far as the code is concerned. It's been in constant use. I'm sure Mr. Russell is much more well versed on the different references. I've tried to make sure that I've adhered to everything that the city code required.
When we were up there, and I don't know when the dates were, but we came up there to look at that. When you showed us that area, and those concrete walls and that type of thing, how much of that living area was encompassed inside those concrete walls?
That the bedroom area, the bathroom that there is attached to it.
But not the entire portion that you're talking about, correct?
I'm not really sure, then again, what you're referring there to. The only thing I'm aware of is,
The exit ways and that type of thing to get out.
yeah, that's part of the regular business, just like everybody else has got regular businesses there. That's correct.
That's what you would have to use for ingress and egress for the residential part, correct? I mean, I'm trying to remember back to when we looked at it.
side door.
Yeah, the side door too, I don't think that's, I'm not sure what he's referring to, but yeah, the
A way to
side
get
door
out.
also. Yes,
No, we're not gonna hear this tonight.
I will not be at the next board meeting. I
But
will be out of town.
you mean the next regular meeting?
Right.
So we're talking, there's a possibility we may be continuing this meeting to next week, we'll be here then.
We'll do it next. He made the motion, anybody want a second? Second, by him, any other question or discussion? To put it off until the next meeting. All in favor? Any opposed? And probably we're gonna have to meet next week. So we'll
I'm
do
not
it.
sure what that means, meet next week, so we're having another board meeting next week, or
Yeah, we may have to continue
meeting
this.
you, or
No.
meeting y'all,
Board
or?
No, it'll be
What's the
another board
deal?
meeting, another board meeting, we're probably gonna do.
That's when you can have your facts, Eric can have his, and you can present it to the board.
It'll be like a public hearing, is that right? Is it public, or?
When am I gonna be notified of this by the city, or the place, time, and et cetera?
We'll
And by whom?
we'll know by the time the night is over. We'll call Eric and take his tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Steve, you need to view the property again?
I don't think so.
Okay. Will you be able to be here next week?
Should be.
Okay. All right, thank
He'll know tomorrow morning what day and time we meet next week. If you want to call me or him or I, either one, we'll advise you what time the meeting is.
Okay.
And at that time, we'll have all the facts?
Well, they're gonna present them at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm vague too.
Thank y'all. I got Terry, you want to say something about the sign?
Well, I see that the public hearing has been moved from this month to next month. The advertising didn't get put in on time. I'll be glad to stand up and speak what I have to say in regard to it tonight if y'all want to. I will be much longer than 3 to 5 minutes. I've been putting myself on the personal appearance agenda for the last 2 months so that I would be assured that I'd be able to say as much as I wanted about the sign ordinance without being cut off and not being able to completely go over all my notes in a public forum. I could either wait until next month's actual public hearing and do it then, which I'd be glad to do, but it is going to be a substantial amount of time, and I feel as a citizen of New Albany that I'm entitled to be able to give my full opinion on the matter. So whether that be tonight or next month, it makes no matter to me.
All right, hang on just a second. Yes, sir.
Did I misunderstand, and did I just understand that gentleman right to say that the sign ordinance, discussion has in fact now been moved? It's next month's
It will
meeting.
be moved because the publication was a day late.
Okay, misunderstood that, appreciate the clarification, thank you.
Have you seen anything to them regarding your concerns so they could have an answer, the board could have an answer for you on some of those questions you have?
I have not, I can, but I would like to say that either now or next month during the public hearing, even if I do provide all my comments, that I'd still like the opportunity to be able to go over them in front of the public in full. I don't mind providing a copy to y'all to look at between now and then, but I still plan on having my time to be able to comment.
Okay, well, I think that'd be helpful to this board to know, so they'll even know what you're talking, you know.
Yeah, like I said, these are just comments that I've had prepared for the last several months. The meeting, for various reasons, gets pushed, and which is fine. But I've just had this, and I feel like that there's some things in here that, you know, it is public knowledge. I could provide this, and if a copy of it is changed between now and then, I'd like to have a copy of that so that I could comment on it as well. But I would like to be able to make my comments known.
And I think we've asked
I think it
several
can
times
be
to
changed.
email us the comments so we can make any changes, and then we haven't
Right.
been able to get them.
I don't mind providing them, but I don't want it to come across that I am trying to push weight and get my opinions, thrown into an ordinance. I merely want to state what my opinion is and let the public hear them and be able to comment on them, and then y'all be able to make a judgment based off of the entire public's opinion. I will be glad to give these to you, and if y'all make all the changes that I suggest, then that's good, I guess, but that's definitely not what I'm asking for. I'm just asking for the opportunity to be able to go over everything in a public setting so that not only I, but the rest of the public could see what's been done, what's been changed, what hasn't been changed, and just ideas going forward on things that could make it better. Like I said, in my opinion, a public hearing is meant to be for the public. And if someone that is a member of the public has an opinion and they want to be able to express it in front of other citizens, then I feel like they have a right to be able to express their full opinion about something. So I just want that opportunity. Like I said, we'll be glad to give you all a digital copy of all of this that I have now. But I would be bringing the same things back next month, and if there were any changes between now and then, if y'all made those changes available before the meeting, I'd like a chance to be able to review those and add comments to those if I had to.
We'll do, we've already promised to do that, we will do that. With regard to your request, it sounds like you're wanting no limit to time, and that's.
I'm not asking to keep us here all night long,
But can you estimate?
I would say 20 to 30 minutes max, unless people really get riled up about something, which I don't think they will. Like I said, I've taken the time to read this ordinance in its various different forms as they came out. Every time the form has been made available, I've taken the time to read every word of it and not only reference things in our old sign ordinance, but research sign ordinances of other towns and cities around us. This is something that has had a lot of contention over the last couple of years. I think it is a very important thing that needs to be discussed, and I'm merely wanting to be able to give my opinions based on the whole thing. I don't see that it is something that is negative on my part, seeing that I didn't write it and didn't cause it to be of this length. If it was a shorter document, it wouldn't take me as long, but I've gone through the entire document and made notes on the entire thing, and I feel like that since it is an official document, that I should be able to comment on the entire thing. Whether that takes an extended period of time or a shorter period of time, I think that more reflects on just the length of the document, not as to how long-winded I am.
As far as time, I'll just leave that, I don't have any 2 cents, that's between you and them. But you're offering it now, so that's that's good. I do want to say, the reason we need to see it is so that it doesn't delay us, because we want to get this thing passed.
Yeah, and
I'm
again,
anxious to see your suggestions, I'm optimistic about it.
as I've stated in previous meetings, what I've been hesitant about giving my comments early on is that I don't want to see us in a situation where if I show up to the meeting next month and routinely I show up to meetings that not many other people show up to, I would not want to show up to a meeting and give my commentary and it be able to be voted on that night without other public members being able to be aware about it. I realize that y'all want to get it behind you. It has been a monster to tackle, and I appreciate the effort that y'all have all put into it. But at the same time, I think once the public has given their opinion, I think the board should take that opinion into consideration and not make a vote a few minutes after hearing those opinions. Because if there are any opinions other than mine that are voiced at that public hearing that make sense and would make this a better document, I think rushing to get it in and vote on it just to get it behind us is, at this point with the time that we put into it, the wrong thing to do. I think there should be a public hearing, and I think the following month, after y'all have had the time to take into consideration all of the public's opinions, not just mine, then at that point I feel like that y'all would have the information that y'all would need to be able to vote on it. Like I said, I appreciate the effort that y'all put into this, along with all the other things that I've been supportive of y'all doing over the years. But at the same time, when you put a lot of work into something and you get to the finish line, that's when you need to sit back and make sure that you crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's. And I think that once the public hearing is made, in my opinion, not just because of the amount of comments that I have, but the amount of comments I think other people have, that there should be some consideration time and that it should not be voted on in that particular meeting, that hearing proceeds.
Okay, and Tracy, thank you for sending us some comments, and Mr. Shiverdecker sent us some suggestions, and I think it'd be fine for us to, I mean, we want to have the public's opinion. We want the public's opinion. I don't know why there's a question about that. But we just don't want people talking for 45 minutes about one certain thing, because we could be there for 85 hours.
Yeah,
So what we really want, can I finish, please? So what we really want is just to be as succinct as possible. So any suggestions that you have, we would love to see them ahead of time, but if you want to wait till the public hearing, I'm fine with that. And I actually like his suggestion that we take any suggestions at the public meeting, and then I hate to do it, but way to
I don't think
talk about
anybody
it.
here wants to rush it through that.
Way to get, we're not in a rush. We need to get it right. It needs a lot of consideration, and I personally want to hear your input, because I spent 7 months on it and I can't think anymore. I mean, I need help. We need help. And Eric and I are meeting next week about it. You're welcome to come meet with us. Anybody's welcome. We want public input. This isn't a secret ordinance. I mean,
Especially for people like Terry.
and Terry knows. I mean, he's a builder. He's got the insight. I want his input.
Mr. Mayor, I agree with what Mr. Young and Alderwoman Livingston said. If you're gonna have a public hearing, there's no point in having a public hearing unless you consider the flaws that are exposed and amendments that may need to be made. So if you have your public hearing in June, having a vote at the July meeting would give the board the time to amend and correct as exposed at the public hearing.
I think everybody's okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
One of the main reasons that I've been putting myself on as a personal appearance is that I have taken a lot of time to review this and put a lot of comments into it. And I wanted to be on the schedule as a personal appearance in case the hearing did take place, so that I could get all my thoughts out there, so that potentially once it got to the public hearing, maybe some of the things that I point out would not be harped on as much as what they would be. And I don't want to see people that are minorly attentive to what's been going on hang up on something that doesn't really matter and waste all of our time, and not let the people that have a legitimate concern and put a lot of time and effort into looking into it. Those are the people that everyone should have the opportunity to say what they want. Those are the people.
We would love for you to email it. If you'd email it, it'd be great, and we'll put it in the paper. I mean, we can publish all your comments if you want to, and that would be public. I mean, would you like? We can do that. I mean, I'd be happy to do that. We put our draft in there, right? So, I mean.
I will provide y'all with my comments for y'all to review before y'all publish that.
Okay.
I don't know if they want.
They may not want to publish it, yeah.
Paper.
I'm just trying to
I will
offer.
put every word of it in the paper, every word of what Mr. Young has to say, not in the paper. I don't think I have paper, but with electrons and protons or whatever it is that we have.
I appreciate what y'all do, and I would prefer to give y'all the courtesy of reviewing it before it was published to the public.
Okay,
Do you want to go ahead and take the reset?
yeah.
Move on from
I had a
the
motion to reset it for June. What's
so moved.
Second.
Was it H?
June the,
Eric won't be here.
June the 4th, I think.
you're not gonna be here the 4th? Yeah, we can handle it. Beat June the 5th, what I got. June the 5th. Got a motion by Amy and a second by Clint, or vice versa. Motion by Clint, Keith, I mean, not Clint. He'll be flattered.
No, I ain't.
I got a motion by Keith and a second by Amy. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So it's set for June the 5th at 5:30.
What would be the date that the advertising would have to be into the paper?
It's already in there.
Correct.
No, I've got to send it back.
She just didn't get it in the paper.
Hey, I realize y'all did everything on y'all's end right, I just.
Basically, we apologize that you had that out there and it was the wrong date. So maybe it'll be the right date.
As Alderwoman Livingston said, she's tired of dealing with it, and I've been dealing with it a lot longer than that. If you have a hearing in June, and there, changes need to be made, or amendments or whatever, will you have to repost, if you make the amendments, you can go ahead and do them in July?
Right, you don't have to be published, although the effective date of the ordinance will be 30 days after the date passes.
And let me clarify, as tired as I am of dealing with it, I know it's very important, so I want us to do it right. So, we're ready to move on?
All right, you can pass that or however you want to give it to them, Terry.
All right, I had a bunch of copies. I've added a few comments to it, and my color ink ran out after 3 copies this afternoon, so I could provide.
Can you send it to them digitally?
Yes, I can.
Okay, that'd be great.
I believe I've got several of y'all's emails, but not all of them.
Well, you can get them.
I'll get them from Frankie tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Let's go to departmental business. Black gas and water, Bill.
Mayor Board.
Okay.
We'll have a few things early today that I wanted to cover. I've got a couple more to add to the list, but I've got a few things tonight. Quick update on the weather sirens. All the parts came in, and the company came to do the install on Friday anyway, so some of the equipment didn't work out. The lift they got wasn't tall enough, and they said 2 or 3 things that, anyway, they weren't able to complete on Friday, but they're coming back this Friday, so we're optimistic everything will be installed by the end of the day on Friday. We've got some surplus lab equipment at the wastewater treatment plant, and I'll pass this list to Frankie. I have no idea what that stuff really is. I guess when we built the plant out there, again, there was a lab, they were gonna do some testing in-house, but anyway, that's never happened, so we're trying to kind of clean the building up out there when we sell this equipment, so I guess I need a motion to declare the equipment surplus.
Deal or auction or?
Yeah, there are only a few entities that would be interested, some private labs, and we were gonna make that available to them and get them to submit bids if that's an acceptable way to do it. If we have to advertise it, we can do that.
Really, the easiest way we found to sell, first of all, if you ever have anything that has no value, the board determined it has no value, you can dispose of it in any way. You also, if you're selling something to a government, it's pretty easy to do that. But generally, we have been using for Chris, we've been using the gov deals.
Yeah,
And that's
we can put it
been
on there.
very effective.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think Bill's
Yeah, we
point was it'd be easier, he thought so, to get another
well, no,
entity.
there's like some private labs. There are a couple of private labs in the region that we have some interest in.
I guess you can call them, tell them it's on.
Yeah, we'll tell them it's on gov deals, let them go there. And
There's another way to put out advertisements, but I really think the auction is easier than doing that, taking bids. But
yeah, we got
either way.
Yeah, we got an account. There shouldn't be a problem to do that.
Okay.
Now, to have a motion put on the gov deal. Motion by Will, have a second by Kevin Dale. Any other question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries.
An item I did not include on the list today, there's a sewer line that crosses Tallahatchie River. It goes, we have a large pump station on Carter Avenue that pumps all the sewer across the river to the wastewater plant. And anyway, you see one of the pipes here on the bridge, and you're going west, it'll be there on the left. Anyway, there's another one down right behind that Carter pump station. And all the heavy rains in the spring, some of the debris in the river has, it's bumped with one of the legs that's holding the pipe above the river. And we've looked at it, I mean, it's not, I don't think it's gonna like fall tonight or anything, but we keep getting big rains and the right tree hits it, it could knock all the support out from under it. In the wastewater or the sewer improvement plan that we submitted to USDA, that was one of the items that we wanted to replace. But both the sewer lines are gonna go away that are above ground in the river. And we were gonna go ahead and have that one bored as well to get it out. We're a little nervous and waiting because it could take another 3 or 4 months to get that project approved and then 3 or 4 months to get the work done. So, we could be 6 months to a year out We've got some estimates to get it replaced, and we were thinking it was gonna be like $90,000 to $100,000, but it's coming back more like in the $25,000 range. I guess long story short, we'd like to go ahead and make that, go ahead and bore that line under the river so we don't have the danger of that pipe breaking. And then when the project hits, we think we can just send a letter to USDA, and when we get the project approved, then we can get reimbursed from the project. So, I just want to make y'all aware of that.
Got a motion by John, do I have a second? Second. All right, any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
NDOT has made us aware of a couple of bridge replacement projects in Denton County. It's on Highway 178 west between Merle and Hickory Flat. It's gonna, we're gonna have to move about 2,000 feet of high pressure gas line, also 4 or 5 electric poles. Our crews can move the electric lines, but we're going to contract out the gas work. And it's a reimbursed, the gas portion of the project is reimbursable through MDOT. And I'd like to advertise for bidders to get that moved. They want to get the project done over the summer.
So moved.
Motion by Amy, have a second by Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Also talking about on the gas system, we still got the project pending for the expansion in Marshall County. We're still working with the PSC to get some approvals and things in place before we can go to the bond market. One thing that's getting on the critical path for us, we want to get this, again, we're optimistic we're going to get the pipe in the ground this fall before the next heating season. But we also need to establish another tap. Again, it's all part of this project with Kinder Morgan, or we know it's Tennessee Gas Pipeline. Kinder Morgan owns the Tennessee Gas now. But part of the project is to establish a new tap up, I guess, to the west of Lake Center. We have the land purchased and we're ready to go with it. Again, kind of waiting on the full project to start moving. The danger is if we don't go ahead and start getting this, the design worked out with Kinder Morgan and I guess kind of doing some of the groundwork on it, we're not going to be able, we won't have the tap in place when the gas line gets installed. So we'll have the gas line in the ground, but won't be able to serve it. So again, it's kind of like chicken and the egg kind of thing. I guess my recommendation on this is for us to go ahead and enter into the new interconnect agreement with Kinder Morgan so we can start work on that tap station. The cost to Kinder Morgan is going to be $452,000. They're going to let us divide that up into a couple of payments. The gas system can fund that. I think a worst case scenario is this project goes away and the grant money goes away and we don't do the big expansion right now. But we need the gate station up there anyway because we have very low pressure on that part of the system and we can't expand anymore until we add the gate station. It would take us a longer time to get money out of it again if the grant, if the full project doesn't go. But I still think it'd be a good investment for us in the long run. So I guess again, what I'm asking for is for us, for y'all to approve us going ahead and at least going the next step. We can sign this interconnect agreement and go on the next step. We'll get the tap established up there.
Is there a written agreement that needs to be reviewed?
Yes, and that's something I'd like to get, obviously, to get regular.
Regular review.
Yeah, because they've got, insurance requirements and hope that people harmless and all that stuff.
I've got a motion by Kevin Dale.
You're asking, first of all, for us to go ahead and start negotiating with each or approve the agreement?
Well, it's kind of like working with the railroad. There's not much negotiation. They just send it to you.
Okay.
And, but there still may be language that we can work out that we may or may not be able to deal with.
So what I'll typically do when that's the case, if there's an agreement that we is not in final form, is approve the agreement subject to attorney approval.
So,
We got a motion by Kevin Dale, second by Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carried.
the other item is a little more exotic. These kind of a funny financial transactions, what it amounts to. I was in San Antonio years ago. These things were fairly common. It's called a gas prepay arrangement. And I guess when the price of natural gas was higher and the interest rates were higher, a lot of folks were doing these, called a gas prepay deal. You enter into it with, there has to be a municipal involved. You can issue tax-free bonds, and there's sometimes always like a big national bank behind it. And in this case, the deal we're looking at is Morgan Stanley. And what happens, these tax-exempt bonds are issued, and you prepay a supplier for a certain amount of gas to go out sometime in the future. This is a 30-year deal, was divided into 5-year increments, this particular deal. And what they guarantee, they can't guarantee what the actual price is going to be. But we buy most of our gas on what's called first of the month pricing, so we know pretty much how much gas we use. And CenterPoint Energy is our marketing agent. They make the nominations and tell how much gas we plan to flow at each one of our gate stations. But whatever the first of the month price is what, again, most of our gas is priced at. Just to say now it's around $3 an MCF. Years ago it was about $7, $8, $9, $10. So just it's very, the prices come down a lot. But if it's say it's at $3 an MCF, with this gas prepaid deal, we can get a 25 to 30 cent discount per MCF on the gas. You wouldn't want to put your whole load, because once you tell them how much gas you're going to take, you got to take that amount of gas whether you use it or not. That's really the only danger in it. But the gas you buy, you get at that 30 cent discount. So again, instead of us this last month, instead of us paying $3, we paid $2.70 on the gas. There's really no risk to the city. Again, it's Reagan, if you start trying to go through the financial track on this thing, again, it gets real hairy real quick. But they've been done for probably 10 or 15 years or more. So it's a proven methodology, and it does produce results. There are ways that there are, I guess, checkpoints in the deal. So after every 5 years, they look, and if it doesn't create at least 20 cents of savings, then you can get out the deal. But it can, if the market conditions change significantly, it can go significantly higher than 20 cents. We could save 30, 40, 50 cents an MCF on the gas depending on market conditions.
But you don't buy all your gas, you just buy the gas you know for sure you're going to.
Right. We're going to do less than, we're going to do around half of what our average loads are.
We'd be locked into that price for a 30-year period.
Well, we'd be locked into the discount.
Just the discount.
The discount part. And typically we do try to hedge some of our gas prices in the winter, but I've been here for 8 years, and I think the hedges we buy, that's a known price on the gas in the winter. I think we've probably hedged 5 or 6 years out of the 8 years. There's only been 2 or 3 months where that hedge price has been lower than the first of the month pricing. It's never significantly higher. And I guess what the gas experts tell us, with the gas prices being where they are right now, it's not going to go much lower, but it could go a lot higher. So they recommend hedging, some portion, just kind of the insurance policy, which is what we've done. But the majority of our gas is along the first of the month pricing. And then we have a storage account. So if we overestimate what we need first of the month, then it flows into storage. If we underestimate, we bring it out of storage and balance out our loads. And this is another one of those things they're kind of pushing by the end of the month. When these deals start happening, they have to bring everything together fairly quick and get it to market when you get the conditions just right. They just made us aware of the deal last week. I say CenterPoint Energy, who has been our marketing agent, they're the one that brought the deal to us. And part of this group is the Municipal Energy Acquisition Corporation, MEAC. So we would join, we would have a resolution basically being a member of MEAC. The Southeast Alabama Gas Supply District, they're the municipal entity that buys the gas, and then Morgan Stanley is the bank. So Morgan Stanley issues the bonds through this Southeast Alabama gas company, and then we buy it back through MEAC, if that makes any sense at all.
I've got a motion, but we'll have a second. Second, Amy, any other question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Only thing I got, I just want to remind everybody with our water system, we have done some things differently where we put a different phosphate in the water, and again, we're handling our flushing program differently this spring. And so far, we've not had very many dirty water complaints. I don't want to make it start happening, but last year, as temperature rose and it just got hotter outside, the dirty water complaints kind of picked up. Anyway, I just want to remind folks if they're complaining about dirty water, please have them call us, because we've got a couple of people that are trying to stay ahead of those things. If we can get it early on, we can get it out of the lines and hopefully keep it from making a big problem for the folks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, Community Development, Billy Jean.
That's right, if I just stand up.
That'd be fun.
I mailed you my monthly report earlier this morning along with Tracy's this afternoon, but nothing that I need your approval on. We're just in the heat of doing the festivals and working with the state tourism department on the state tourism guide. That's it, all is well.
And the website, like, do we have an estimate of when it's gonna be?
I gave an update in my minutes. Let me think about this. Lance has moved all of the basic city information over. He's changed all the festival and event dates. He's added the calendar along with if you want to sign up for alerts to the calendar. And next he's working on getting more of the alder people, the pictures, the wards moved over. Zoning map. As soon as we get that from you guys.
All right, police department, Chris.
I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor.
On the street and sanitation, Johnny wants to hire Ray Pickens as part-time employee for the summer to do bush hogging. He used to work here and retired 4 or 5 years ago, but he needs somebody to come back and help bush hog. Got a motion, second by Amy. Any other questions, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, fire department.
Yeah, we currently have 2 openings. We got through with application period and testing, and my recommendation to fill those 2 openings is Jack Whiteside, he's from New Albany, and Blake O'Callaghan, he's from Pontotoc.
Okay. Got a motion by Will, second by Kevin Dale. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Building inspector.
I emailed the monthly reports to y'all today. We had a zoning meeting, request from New Albany Farmstead Solutions at 140 Fairfield Drive for a variance in the sign requirements to use the upcoming sign ordinance to calculate the size of the sign was approved. Request from Cynthia Kinney at 202 Union Avenue, a variance for accessory building to use it in the side yard was denied. A request from Advanced Heating and Cooling at 421 West Bankhead, a variance for a setback requirement was approved. That's about all I got.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move to general city business. Item A is approval of correction of claims docket for 2018, April 2018. Got a motion by Keith, I have a second. Second by Amy, any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. Highway 30 Starling Avenue traffic light. I don't have an update unless you do. I don't. And same thing for C, Snyder Railroad Bridge repair. Okay, item D, as y'all know, Sean resigned from the GM&O Rails to Trails Board, and Billy Jean has agreed to take the appointment for the Board of Directors for the Rails to Trails for GMO. Motion by Johnny, second by Kevin Dale. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, item E is to approve application from Avalon Taxes to Diversity Boutique LLC.
The tax office was good, no conditions on that one, they're happy.
Okay. What's the will of the board? Motion by Johnny, have a second. Second by Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Vehicles for sale proposed ordinance. Who?
Thank you.
Craig, is that you?
That is actually Eric, he drafted it, he can explain it better than I can.
What it is we've had a lot of complaints about people setting vehicles for sale on parking lots everywhere. And this ordinance would allow you to once that you prove that that was your vehicle and you got permission from the owner of the property, that property could do that, no more than 2 vehicles at a time and up to 4 times a year. And there would be a permit for $15 for 30 days, and that would be on commercial. Then there would also be a $5 permit for 30 days on residential. So we've had them setting them everywhere, commercial and residential. Tupelo had this problem, and this is kind of where that comes from.
And we've had some car people complaining and,
A bunch,
yeah.
regularly. So,
Sounds like it's a lot like the yard sale thing.
yeah.
Do a few, just can't make it business.
Yeah. What do we need to do tonight?
Somebody, it doesn't have to be voted on, but an alderman has to offer it in writing for later consideration.
Okay.
And it's not a zoning ordinance, so it doesn't have to be set for public hearing.
Okay. Got a motion for John, second by Amy. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're gonna skip G for a moment, go to H, reset public hearing for amendment to Appendix C, Section 101. What is that, Reagan?
That was the change in C1, and then there was a reference in C2 to allow, and it was just like the other, the publication was a day late.
Okay. A motion by Amy to have a second to reset it to June 5th. Second by Will, any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, item I we've already done to reset the public hearing for the sign ordinance. J is to approve resolution from Three Rivers regarding CDBG matching funds for water system improvement. Bill, what is that?
At the board meeting last month, that's the project out Highway 348, kind of past Mound City.
Oh, this way?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we had agreed to put, I think it's $65,000 into it, which is what we approved last year. And we're still staying at the same amount, but there's a community member, well, Paul Smithy, and he is very motivated to get water out there. He has volunteered to do some of the work on the project. He can't do all of it. It's almost a $500,000 project, but he's offered to give some services like, his professional services, such as running the water lines and some bores. And he can give that and it'll count as match money. That's one of the areas that we scored very well on the last time with the grant, because it's a $500,000 project. We're only putting in, 60 or 65,000, so the match doesn't look good. They really want you to have close to a 50% match for you to really get your maximum points. And this is not going to get it to 50%, but it'll probably get it up to 25 or 30. So it does not cost us anything. It basically be Paul, and maybe some people out there that are giving him some money as well to do some of the work. I'm not sure how he's funding it, but it's not going to cost us anything.
But we get to claim it.
Yeah,
as in-kind.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's just they claim it as in-kind service.
So, what do you need tonight? Approval?
Yeah, I'm assuming that they had to rewrite that to show that there's going to be a match, is what I'm saying. But it's not cash money out of like gas and water, it's in-kind. That's what I'm assuming they're doing with that.
They asked for another approval for it. Three Rivers. Okay, we got the resolution here. Okay. Guess I need a motion and second to approve the resolution regarding CDBG matching funds water system improvement. Motion for Key, second by Kevin Dale. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, item L is to approve memorandum of agreement between Union County. Okay, all right, let's move back up to K. Approved targeting rating plan, Downey Light Gas and Water System improvement.
Every year when we have our state water inspection, we can score up to 5 points on it. And I think they look at whatever our average has been over the last 3 or 4 years, and they just want us to say we're going to strive to maintain that rating, which is something we'll do anyway.
We gotta have a motion, board action. All right, I have a motion and a second. Motion to Keith, second by Will. Any other question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
We got 5 last year.
All right, now let's move to L. Approved memorandum of agreement between Union County and the City of Neola for CDBG funds for water system improvements.
Yeah, and
It's the same project.
yeah, well, the county
But they're gonna apply.
Yeah, the county is applying for the block grant instead of us, but we've got an open block grant with the gas project. So the county is applying for it, they're gonna give us the money, is what they basically do.
So we need a board action on approving the MOU between us and the county. Motion by Kevin Dale, have a second. Second by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carried. Now, I'm gonna recuse myself for G, M, N, and O, right?
Yeah, let me make one statement before you leave. It's about these trees, and I'm getting complaints not only from the public, but from the city employees about the trees that we planted down on, across the plaza, which is gonna make it difficult to bush hog. It's gonna tear up the street that's already torn up. And to my knowledge, we never voted to put trees down there to begin with. It's in my ward, I didn't know anything about it. The trees that we're gonna put out, we're gonna go from the River Bridge out toward Reed's, as I understood it. So I just wanna make that comment where the press will know where I stand on it.
Could I make a comment?
Sure, keep it.
Comment. Yeah, the trees on Park Place, Park Plaza.
Crystal Plaza. I said park, but Crystal Plaza.
I was under the impression that those trees were purchased for Bankhead per our meeting, I believe, 2 months ago. I did notice as well that they were put up and down that road. Some of the considerations that you just said are very good complaints as well, but also given that the area has a high commercial usage and the tenants that use those commercial areas are national tenants, one thing that they are very, very concerned about is visibility, not only for their signage, but for their buildings as well. And the type of trees and the proximity that they're planting to each other is, in my opinion, going to be a detriment to the businesses that locate up and down that road, as well as potentially causing issues in the future with curb cuts for new businesses that will go in. And there is also an issue of, while it hasn't been discussed in public, at some point Park Plaza is in dire need of being a 3-lane instead of a 2-lane, and a lot of the money that, or a lot of the trees that are in that area would have to be removed if that ever did occur. I realize the beautification of the town is something that is very important, but with it not being made aware to the public that they'd be put in that location, and I think that was maybe a mistake. My question would be is, are those particular trees the ones that were intended to go on Bankhead, and it was decided that they wouldn't be placed there and placed in an alternate location instead, or are there still going to be trees put on Bankhead as well?
Those were the trees that were ordered after we talked to Bill and Danny Jordan and looked further. They're pin oak trees, and they're gonna get too big to go to Bankhead because of power line problems.
And that's my concern with the location they're in now, is that they are pin oak trees, and the height that they will be, as long as the width that they will have to them. All those commercial businesses, which are actually a very big lifeline for the city in regard to tax dollars, are going to be affected both from a visibility standpoint and from an access standpoint. I think it's a great idea for beautification, plant trees is a really good idea, but I think possibly planting a little better ahead of time before we buy a bunch of trees and then need to stick them in the ground could be something that we do a little better. Or consider a different type of tree that doesn't grow as tall or as wide. The crepe myrtles that were on South Central for forever that got cut down when they redid those, a crepe myrtle, if pruned correctly, is a beautiful tree.
That's all right.
That does not grow too high or too wide, and that could have been a better option.
Yeah, I think that's the next option. It's already been as good.
Well, the other thing about that street that the public don't know probably is that from the freeway stop at at Walmart to Bratton Road is a state aid road, it's not a city street, and the general public probably doesn't know that.
Right.
So, I did talk to Chad Coffey, and it's in his district, and he did say that, the beautification committee did come and talk with them, but he was under the same impression I was, that they were gonna be on Lakehead rather than out there. So, anyway, that's all I'm saying.
And I agree with Johnny on that, the board had no
I didn't even know.
knowledge.
And I'm on
It
the
wasn't
education
approved.
committee. I mean, I didn't know.
It's, in my opinion, it's a bad location,
Yeah.
and they're too close to the road and the trees. We have to, Bill, I know the power lines, on one side of that road, now there's, pin oak trees are really pretty big.
They are,
And another point is in the past, I know we talked about adding a bike lane on that road. When we repave it, which it needs, in dire need, so they'll have to be cut and moved back, if we do that.
And this is, why I think a lot of planning needs to go into all the changes that we make. We gotta have an overall plan. So, anyway.
Okay, Tim's gonna recuse himself because we got some issues to deal with the company that his son works for, so, we get back to item G, under general city business, we need a motion to approve the lease purchase agreement with S&A Industries. I don't know if you have that, I think you sent us a copy, okay. Any comments about that?
Just that it was drafted over a period of a few months, Three Rivers had some input into it. It's, been approved by all parties, ready to go.
Okay, so
All
we need a
parties
motion.
agree. All parties have agreed on.
Leave a motion. Kevin, do. Motion to have a second. Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, and then item M is the approval of payment request number 2 for S&A Industry. S&B Construction estimate number 2 for S&A Industry, $290,390.50.
That does come out of the CDBG grant.
Comes out of CDBG grant money. Do I have a motion to approve payment of that?
So moved.
Motion by Will, do I have a second? Second by Keith. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Item N, approval of payment request for professional services regarding S&A Industries, Three Rivers Planning, $4,000. Comes out of the grant as well.
So,
Motion by Keith, to have a second. Second by Amy. Any questions, discussion? Well, okay, Kevin, thank you, sis. So her first, anyway, Keith made the motion. Second by Amy, Kevin, all right. All in favor? All opposed? That motion carries. And then the last one is approved request for cash authorization, number 3, project, number 1133-17-274-ED-01, S&A project, $294,390.50.
That's just where Three Rivers, has to have approval from y'all to request these funds for these 2 invoices.
Okay, so those, that adds up to what the other 2, that we just approved. So we have a motion. Kevin, have a second. Keith? Any questions, discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. I don't know if Tim's coming back or not.
He left. Adjourn to next, I would like to adjourn to next Monday. Is that possible?
Well, I won't be here.
Y'all will be here, okay.
I'll be out.
Okay, all next week? Okay.
You can do this last part without me, can't you?
No, come on.
All right, anybody got anything else? Yes, sir.
Maybe.
Question,
Oh,
Yeah, I wanted to adjourn to next week so we could, we had a couple of things we wanted to do in.
okay, what day?
Well, I said Monday, Johnny's gonna be out of town
He's gonna be out all week.
already.
Give it up. All week. So,
So, hold on one second.
well, we get the next.
That's what I'm looking at, let's see. Could we adjourn to the 14th?
What's the drop date?
Insurance.
Or do we need it?
Well, June the 1st effective day. It ain't us, it's whoever got it enrolled, everybody. What's a Monday, a week from Monday?
14th. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
That's the earliest we can do it, that's the earliest we can do it.
Monday don't good for me.
Either one? Oh, neither one?
Not Monday.
What about Tuesday?
Tuesday, good.
15th. Everybody go with 15th?
I'm not. Sorry, I'm be out of town.
What about the rest of that week?
Be out of town.
So we're just gonna have to call, we can call in if we have to.
That's true.
Set it and call in.
Are you gonna be the only one out next week, Johnny?
I am.
Kevin said he was. Maybe Keith could call in if
And
he
you
said.
can't wait till next meeting, the next regular meeting?
No, the effective date has to be June the 1st, I think.
Have we got anything to look at?
We will after tomorrow. We're gonna hand in, well, we can't open them till next, till whenever we meet, because they're gonna be sealed quotes.
Yeah, indicated that we would open them all at the same time.
You wanna call our Ken Keith, or?
Man, I really don't know if I'll be able to or not. I mean, it depends on what day it is. I'm gonna be at a conference in Chicago, so it just depends on when you set it. Not yet. I mean, I possibly could, but could be that I could. Are you looking to do it Tuesday?
Any, the best day for you, what's the best day that week? That you,
Yeah, the other four can be here that week, except you, so what's your best day? You think, for the week after next, 15th or 16th?
I mean, I could be here on Monday, though, that week, because I leave Tuesday, but if.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, Monday,
Will can't be here.
Will, can you call in on the 14th?
but I can,
No?
just set it, and I mean, if I can call in, I'll call in.
All right, you're out both Mondays, or every Monday. So when I said Tuesday the 15th,
Well, I mean, who, does it matter who's not there? I'm just saying, like, is it, like, we can just set it and then, right?
no, it don't really.
Well, it depends if it's gonna be an important vote, everybody wants
Yeah,
to be at.
everybody wants to.
Well, it's impossible for everybody to be here. In the next 2 weeks, which one has got to be done?
I think that day is more of a travel day for me.
The Tuesday,
So I think, depending, if you do it at 5:30,
may or may not.
I don't know. I'll do everything I can to be on.
All right, let's set it for Tuesday the 15th at
30.
5:30.
That'll give him a little more time.
We have a couple things, at least a couple things to do that day, including that hearing. If there's a time that's better for you, you can only take part of it. You let us know, and we'll save the important parts you
Is
want
that
to be at.
something I can tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just gotta look at the schedule, and I'll let you know.
All right, maybe your motion is to adjourn until. Yes, sir.
Question for the clerk. When on item A under general city business, paying the bills, claims docket, was there a dissent on that vote?
Okay. Your motion, Tuesday 15th at 5:30, adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second? Second by John. Any other questions or all in favor? All right, we'll be adjourned to the 15th at 5:30.